Hello and salutations, it's me, Salty. Welcome back to Two Cents Toys, and today I'm going over the McFarlane Toys Avatar The Last Airbender Aang with Air Glider. I didn't even know McFarlane was making Airbender toys, so this was a pure surprise to me. I found it at Walmart on the shelf. I don't know how much it was. I just picked them up, put them right in the cart. Avatar is not a property I talk about a lot on the channel. I've only talked about it once before with the Diamond Select version, and I was very late to the party with Avatar. But I watched it and I loved the show, and I'd made mention that there should have been an air glider with that version, and here it is. I could do without the goofy grin, but that's Aang. I get it. I'm hoping to find a version like this. That'd be kind of cool. So you can see here in the box, we get the artwork, we get the Nickelodeon logo, McFarlane logo, the glider, Aang, and the glider not in glide form. Top of the box just says McFarlane Toys. Side's just blue with some labels. Other side looks like that. And the back of the box, we get a picture of Aang with a little bit of a read up. With all that out of the way, I'm going to get it open. We'll look at all this stuff. We'll go over articulation. We'll put them next to the Diamond Select version, and we'll call it a day. Starting off with accessories. Here's the glider all folded up, cast in brown, slightly crooked, may or may not be able to see. Compared with the Diamond Select version, you can see it's a lot shorter, a lot different. This one's not exactly entirely accurate either, so there's that. Then we have the glider proper, which has a kind of texture on it, as you can see there, but it's out of scale, I think. You can see the collapse glider matches up fairly well, so at least there's that. But it's made of a soft plastic, so it's all warped and bent, so you can kind of do that with it. At least it's not going to snap on you. I mean, if you intentionally do it, of course it will, but I think that's why it's made of that, so it doesn't kind of break on you by accident. That leaves us with Aang, who has this perpetually goofy look on his face, but that's kind of in keeping with his character, so it's not that far out of the realm of possibility. It'd be nice to have a closed mouth Aang, but whatever. Articulation's pretty well lacking in this figure, which we'll go over here in a second, but let's look at some of the sculpted details. You can see that kind of almost leather look to this overcoat, whatever you may call it. There's kind of a textured pattern to all the beige parts, the sculpt in the robe there. He's got some cuffs. The arrow on his head turned out very clean, I think. You can see it kind of is a little bit crooked. It's offset from his nose, but it does go all the way to the back of the skull, but does not continue onto the back of the neck. Some nice sculpted detail along the collar there. A bit of a texture change in his pants between the kind of beige and the brown. You can see his socks look knitted. I do have some warping in the leg there. I have a seam line in the back of the pants. The arrows turned out clean on his hands, I think. That one's a little splotchy compared to the other one, but it's still fairly clean, at least cleaner than I could do. But let's go ahead and stand him next to the Diamond Select one. You can see a bit of a height discrepancy between the two. I mean, they are two different manufacturers, two different companies. I've always thought that Diamond Select and McFarlane were both in the 7-inch scale. I could be wrong. Someone's wrong here. Probably me. But you can see here that the costumes are entirely different, probably two different parts of the show. It's been a little while since I've seen the show, and I don't remember how Aang's costume changes throughout the series, but there you can see how Diamond Select continued the tattoo down his back. That's all the skin you really see on this one is the head and hands, so we don't really know how much tattooing they would have done for McFarlane, but usually he's pretty good about paint. Paint on the face turned out very well though, with the eyes and the mouth and all that, but so far I like the Avatar state better. So I'll quickly just recap articulation. There are some kind of hindrances here, like this hard plastic over the shoulder kind of prevents the arm from going any further up than that, or this hard plastic here prevents the leg from really going out or forward very far, but he still has better articulation than the McFarlane one, which I'm about to show you. For example, he has hinge and swivel in the wrist, and McFarlane doesn't. He has much better head articulation and movement. Kind of upsetting, actually. So let's go ahead and talk about regular Aang. That's all the further that he looks up. That's all the further that he looks down. He still has side to side, but it's very tight and kind of sticks on itself. That's all he gets for tilt. Shoulder can spin 360 with no problem. Comes up that far. Single joint in the elbow only comes up that far, though it can't hyperextend the other direction. Elbow swivel, but there's no articulation in the wrist. Really no forward or back in the waist. There is a waist swivel. He kicks forward that far, kicks back and out over 90. The thigh is on a ball, so you get that much swivel on it. It just swivels on the ball. Single joint in the knee comes up that far, hyperextends that far, and there is a knee swivel, but there's no articulation in the ankles. Where Diamond Select, even with the hindrances in those two areas, we get a great amount of tilt in the head, and it swivels without really any issues. Oops. He does look up and actually looks down. Shoulder does move up. Same kind of elbow joint, but he has a wrist swivel and a pivot. He has double joints in his knees, and you can't see it, but there is a thigh cut that allows it to swivel. And he does get a modicum of forward and back and side to side in the waist, on top of having ankle joints that also rock. While the Diamond Select has a hindrance in one shoulder and one hip, he runs circles around the McFarlane one, just by the added articulation in the wrists, ankles, abdomen, head, pretty much everywhere else that this one doesn't have it. Which normally I'm not going to harp on who has the most articulation, but this Aang comes with a glider, which he can't attach to in any convincing way. And because he has no wrist articulation, it's really difficult to get him to grab this with both hands in a convincing way again. You pretty much have to do something like that, which leads us to the glider, which that's the closest you can get, and that's really pushing it. You can see that it kind of warps it a little bit just to get both arms on there. And when you kind of let him go, he starts to sag a little bit. On top of that, because of the head articulation, you can't get him to look forward, so you're going to have to like display him like that. The only other thing I've found to work around is to basically bring the feet up and attach them to the back like that. And that kind of keeps them in place a little bit, but still you're pretty much limited to that kind of pose. Because if you want to put him flying forward, you have to put him like that because he can't look up. All he does is smile at the ground like a doofus. For height comparisons, there's Rain Man Tim, Battle Armor He-Man, Marvel Legends Modular Iron Man. Once more, there's the Avatar State Aang from Diamond Select Titanium Man, McFarlane Last Night on Earth Bane, McFarlane Toys Last Night on Earth Batman, Mega Constructs Fisto, Kenner Boba Fett, Vintage Destro, Black Series Qui-Gon, Classified Destro, Mythic Legions Hagnon, War Duke, and Jurassic Park Pachycephalosaurus. That's all I got for today. Very disappointed with this figure. I don't remember how much it cost, but I can't imagine it was more than 20 bucks, probably like 14, 15, maybe 10. I expected more out of it, which in hindsight, for the price, I guess, or I should have paid more attention to it inside the box. I just assumed that it would have ankle and wrist articulation. For the price, if you can find the Diamond Select Avatar figures, that's what I would recommend. I can't even figure out what scale he's supposed to be in, truth be told. I showed you a variety of figures just now. I have no idea. I recommend the Diamond Select ones over this. I won't be getting any more of these figures from McFarlane. This one's pretty much burned me on it, to be honest with you. Let me know what you think down below. If you know anything about Avatar, if you like the show, if you've watched it, if you haven't, I recommend it. I think it's really good. Start to finish, it's a great story. But the figure, I can't recommend it. I can't. But anyway, if it's your first time on the channel today and you like what you saw, then all that asks is you click like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to help me out, and I very much appreciate it when you do. And I do thank you all for stopping by and spending some time with me today. So, until next time, I'm Salty, signing off.